Give meanings. Thumb it or strike something heavily. Strand, a famous place in London. Take the criminals by surprise. Catch the criminals without giving them a warning. Stop the holes. Closed all the routes by which the criminal may escape, run away. Gash, a long deep slit. Foiled, laid waste, prevented. Object, purpose or reason. Motive, purpose. Inferred, concluded. Answer the following questions. Tell the name of the young man who opened the door to Mr. Holmes. The young man who opened the door to Mr. Holmes was his assistant, Mr. Vincent Spaulding. What did Holmes want to see? Holmes wanted to see the knees of Mr. Spaulding's trousers. Guess where Mr. Merryweather took the others. Mr. Merryweather took the huge cellar of the city branch of one of the main banks in London. How did Mr. Merryweather come to know about the crime? Holmes must have told Mr. Merryweather about the crime. Why did Mr. Holmes think the criminals would act that night? Mr. Holmes had a strong feeling that the criminals would act that night because it was a Friday and the banks and offices would be closed for the weekend, making the work of the criminals easier. How did the criminals enter the cellar? The criminals entered the cellar through a square hole in the floor of the cellar. Who were the two criminals? The two criminals were Mr. Spaulding, the assistant, and Mr. Duncan Ross. Who tried to get away? Do you think he was able to escape? Why? Duncan Ross tried to get away. I do not think he was able to escape because there were three men waiting for him at the other end. Why did Holmes become suspicious? The advertisement of the Red-Headed League was strange and the job offered to Mr. Wilson was peculiar. In addition, the assistant Spaulding worked for half the wages. He also had the habit of disappearing into the cellar every now and then. All this made Holmes suspicious. How did Holmes find out that the assistant was a criminal? Using Mr. Wilson's description of his assistant, Holmes made enquiries and found that the assistant was a criminal. How did Holmes guess that he was digging a tunnel? Mr. Holmes suspected that Mr. Spaulding was digging a tunnel because when Mr. Spaulding Clay answered the doorbell, the knees of his trousers were wrinkled and stained, and this confirmed his suspicion. Explain the trick of the Red-Headed League. How was it related to Mr. Wilson's hair? The Red-Headed League was a clever idea of Mr. Spaulding and Mr. Ross to keep away Mr. Wilson from his own home for some time during the day so that they could dig a tunnel from Mr. Wilson's house to the bank in the hope of stealing the gold from the bank without breaking open the doors of the bank. The Red-Headed League was no way connected to Mr. Wilson's heir. It was just a way to get Mr. Wilson to apply for the job. Put the following events in proper order. Holmes and others go to the bank. Clay digs a tunnel. Ross closes the office of the Red-Headed League. Holmes catches the criminal Clay. Clay and Ross enter the cellar to steal the gold. The bank received a lot of gold from the Bank of France. Holmes visits the area around Mr. Wilson's shop. Number 1. The bank received a lot of gold from the Bank of France. Number 2. Clay digs a tunnel. Number 3. Ross closes the office of the Red-Headed League. Number 4. Holmes visits the area around Mr. Wilson's shop. Number 5. Holmes and others go to the bank. Number 6. Clay and Ross enter the cellar to steal the gold. Number 7. Holmes catches the criminal Clay. From the passage, find adverbs that end with ly. Find the adjective in each of the adverb. Adverbs and adjectives. frankly, frank, silently, silent, carefully, careful, quickly, quick, suddenly, sudden, really, real, beautifully, beautiful. Use the following outline to develop a story as a group activity. Then write the story individually. Family returns home late at night. Dash. Hear conversation between thieves from inside the locked house. Dash. Family gets ready to counter. Dash. Attack. Dash. Father opens the door. Dash. All enter. Dash. No one is seen. Dash. But TV is on. Dash. Detective serial midway. Students must read this story writing on their own.